Hi, I'm Stephanie from the EliMonster.com. We make instantly downloadable PDF sewing and knitting patterns that you can purchase, print, and start your project right away. I was chosen to be a content creator for Michael Miller Fabrics through sewingportfolios.com. It is a free international sewing community online that you can join, upload pictures of your past projects, and connect with sewing and sewing related businesses worldwide. Today, I'll be working with Michael Miller Fabrics' newest collection called Everglades. It comes in two colorways, Citrus and Lily Pad. Citrus is obviously bright citrusy colors, bright yellows, bright pinks, more of a lime green, and Lily Pad is navies and sort of a turquoisey teal and a little bit more towards the jewel tones. So you have a choice. You can either go really bright or a little bit more subdued. They have this great alligator print, obviously because it's called Everglade. This one's called Chomp, and it comes in both colorways. And then I think this is my favorite print out of the whole collection. It's called Peak, and it has these water stripes and then just little alligator eyeballs peeking out. I don't know what I want to do with this fabric yet, but I know I want to do something pretty special with it. I like that one a lot. If you don't want to do necessarily alligators, there's a lot of other choices. There are dots and there are scattered triangle prints and stripes and just a lot of other accent fabric that are just really great on their own. I like this one. This one is a scattered floral print, and my daughter has claimed this for pajama pants, so I will be making her pajama pants as soon as I'm done making this video. But here's the brighter, the citrusy Chomp, and it's a really great bright fabric. So today, after a lot of thinking and a lot of what am I going to be doing with this fabric, it has to be pretty awesome because this is a pretty awesome line. I've decided that I'm going to show you how to make a waterproof wet bag because it is a water themed collection, and so I thought that was pretty fitting. This one is lined with polyurethane laminate or pull, and it can hold, if you cloth diaper, this is what I did when my kids were little. I put the cloth diapers in here, and then it held the smell and the wetness in there, and then I could just throw it in my diaper bag and go about my day, and then come home and wash them all when we return home. But if you do not have little kids or you don't cloth diaper, this is great for, let's say your kid spills ice cream all over their shirt and you don't want to throw that in your bag and get the rest of the bag dirty. You could just throw it in here. This is great for an extra change of clothes, and then you put the dirty clothes in here and it keeps the mess inside, or gym clothes, or this is perfect for when you go to the beach. You can put wet swimsuits and goggles and flip-flops and anything else that you don't want to get, the rest of the car sandy. You just pop it in here and then just pop the whole thing in the washer. You empty it out, and then you could even put the wet bag in the washer, and it's all good to go. So today I'm going to show you how to make this size wet bag and then install the zipper without a zipper foot on your sewing machine. And I think that's a pretty handy skill to have because sometimes you don't have a zipper foot or you don't want to be constantly changing feet. In this way, you don't have to. Let's talk materials. Once you determine the size of wet bag that you want, in this example, I'm making approximately a 13 by 13 inch bag, enough to hold a swimsuit, pair of goggles, possibly a pair of flip-flops if they get really sandy on the beach. So I'm making it my dimensions 1 inch bigger on each size. So a 13 by 13 inch bag will require a 14 by 14 inch cut of fabric. So you have your main fabric, and it's this adorable print from her collection, two pieces, and then 2 pieces of polyurethane laminate or pull fabric, and you can get that at any big box fabric store nowadays in a variety of colors. If you have a specific color in mind, you can always order that online. But get one to coordinate with your outside print. I like the pop of color when you open the bag up. You need a 12-inch piece of ribbon. I like mine about 1.5 inches wide. It gives a little bit of a sturdier handle. And then a zipper that is longer than the width of your bag. So since my fabric is cut 14 by 14 inches, so 14 wide, I chose a 15-inch zipper. It can be the exact length, so you can make it 15 inches wide, but you don't want your zipper shorter than the width of your bag. So if you have extra like I have, it's no big deal. Let's get started sewing. I'm going to show you how to install a zipper without a zipper foot on your machine, because I know that some people don't have that foot yet or don't really need it, don't use it a lot. If you have a zipper foot, by all means go ahead and use it, but right now I'm just going to use kind of the default machine foot and show you how to do it that way, just in case you don't have that zipper foot. So we are going to put the zipper on the top of the bag, and if you have a directional print like this one where all the little guys are facing upwards, you know, all of their heads are up on top, they aren't scattered. This is my top. It's very obvious. So we're going to lay our outer print right side up on the table. We are going to take our zipper, and the pull on this is the right side of the zipper. So we are going to put that face down. And one thing to remember, so earlier I said that my zipper was a little bit longer than the fabric, than the bag. So I'm going to take the top edge of the zipper and I'm going to line it up with the side of the fabric, the side of the bag. That will give a little bit of room for the pull to stop. We don't want to crowd that too much. And then the tail end, it doesn't really matter. That'll just get hidden down in the bag. So we line that up with the top edge of the bag. And then we take our pull, and you'll notice that there's kind of a fabric-y side, a soft side, and then more of a plasticky side. And this is the waterproofing. And it does not matter which side faces in towards the bag. It's totally a personal preference. If you're just going to hold swimsuits and relatively clean things, then you can definitely have the soft side in. It's just a little more pleasant to touch. If you are holding dirty cloth diapers, which is what I did for years, both my kids were cloth diapered, then I liked the wipeable plasticky side in. I just felt that it just got a little cleaner in the washer. But either way, either one is fine. So we are going to line up the top edge of the pull with the fabric and the zipper. And with pull, I like to pin because it's a little bit slippery and it's a little sticky. It's a little bit harder to work with right at the beginning. But I'm going to pin, but every time that you pin, you put a hole in the waterproof membrane of the fabric. So keep that in mind. You don't want to pin a lot. Like for this zipper, I'm going to do 3 pins total. That's so I only have 3 tiny little holes in the seam allowance. So let's pin. Okay, everything is pinned in place. Let's get ready to start sewing. So what you want to do is you want to move your needle all the way to the left. There we go. And then when we flip it over, you will be able to feel the ridge of the zipper. And we are going to butt that right up against the edge of the sewing machine foot. And we're going to remove pins along the way. You don't want to sew over your pin. I've done that before and it's actually cracked the pin and made it shoot and fly off. So you don't want to do that. So you notice I butt the zipper right up against the edge of the foot, and then my needle is all the way to the left. So let's start sewing. So we're to our first needle, or our first pin. Let's continue to sew. our last pin. And when we get close, so here's my pull for my zipper, we're going to pause with the needle down. I'm actually going to lift the foot and kind of scooch that zipper pull past the zipper foot. Otherwise you get a big lump and it's not a very pretty seam. And then we finish it up right up. So then when we open it up, we have this nice zipper with this even seam because we just guided the zipper with the edge of the foot. And then on the inside, we have our lining, and there's no exposed seams, and it's just a really gorgeous finish. So let's do this on the other side. So we, again, put our print right side up. And then, so since we have this tail, we essentially want to line this edge. We're going to pretend that this is just where everything stops. So we line it up just like that. And then if you forget which way you put your pull down, you can double check. So I have mine shiny side up. And then we repin and we redo the process. And again, when you sew, you want to move your zipper out of the way when you get to it. It's easiest if you leave it as zipped as long as possible. So now when we open it up, we have print, zipper, and then lining. And let's go ahead and press this open. It'll just make the finished bag look a little bit nicer. I'll be back once it's pressed. Okay, I am back from pressing. You don't want to press it on high because this is polyester and it will melt. I've melted it a few times in the past. So you just want to press it on low just to kind of open up the zipper area a little bit. It makes it easier for these next steps. So you want to flip your main fabric and then your lining fabric. So your main fabric is right sides together and your lining fabric is right sides together. And then what we can do is, I'll show you. You want to open up your zipper a couple of inches because you'll need to reach your hand in there and get to the other side. And if it's zipped all the way closed, it's going to be a really hard time trying to get that. So you fold your zipper actually in half, just like that. So you want to fold your zipper just like that. And I'm going to pin this so it stays put and stays where it is. And then what you want to do, you want to do this on the other side, just like this. You want to fold your zipper in half, and I'll go ahead and pin this right here, but then you will pin all the way around. And then let's install your handle. Sometimes I like to just put in one side and then when the bag is finished, I can add a snap. That's so you can hang it from your stroller or hang it from a loop on your purse, but for the sake of this demonstration, I am just going to have just a regular handle and not a snap one. So we want to wedge that up probably about 1/4 of an inch from the top of the zipper, just like that, and then lay your other layer on top of it, and we'll pin this guy in place. And then you just want to pin all the way around. See, I think this pin got stuck in the sewing machine, so it's all bent and wonky. So that is why you want to remove them. But we'll just pin all the way around. So now it's all pinned and ready to go. And if you have those Wonder Clips, that is perfect for this material. I don't have them, I just have pins. In fact, I don't really use pins much anymore, so I haven't justified the cost of buying the clips. But if you have those, you can definitely use those instead of pins. So now it is all pinned up. We are going to sew all around the perimeter of the bag. We are going to leave about a 3-inch opening right in the middle, in the bottom of the lining. That way we can turn it right side out. So let's get sewing. And you want to put your needle back to the default setting instead of moving it all the way to the left like we did for the zipper. And you'll notice that the pull is been really wonky and kind of pulling, and it's okay. It will straighten out. Sewing the pull is much better if you guide it through and keep it kind of taut as it goes through the machine. It gets a little less wrinkly and it sticks a little bit less just because you're essentially just kind of forcing it through the machine. Now we are to the zipper, and we want to make sure that the zipper is folded in half. And we're going to go slow across the zipper because we don't want the needle of your sewing machine to catch on the hard plastic of the zipper. You just want it to kind of skip over that. And if you want to reinforce, this is a really good place to reinforce. Let me get rid of this pin. So you want to go forward. Did you hear that it almost caught on the hard plastic? And then you'll want to go back and then forward slowly again. There we go. And now it has that little bit of extra reinforcement stitching. And then we are going to continue to go all the way around. Okay, and now we are to the point where we are attaching the handle to the bag. And again, I like to reinforce it. So I am going to sew across. And then I'm going to reverse it. And then you can even, when you get done sewing the rest of the bag, if you want to go back and zigzag this into place within the seam allowance, that's definitely a good thing to do. It just really reinforces the handle into the bag because you don't want that to rip out. That would be a pain. So I'm going to finish the rest and then I'm going to zigzag and you'll see that. I like to reinforce the last couple of stitches at any opening. Otherwise, when you turn it around, you'll see the little loose stitches and that just doesn't look good. So let's lift our sewing machine foot. And like I said, I want to reinforce this section just a little bit. My kids are really hard on bags, so I like to give it as much reinforcement as I can. So I'm going to switch to a zigzag, and I'm just going to zigzag within the seam allowance. That does not have to be pretty or exact. No one's going to see it. It's just going to hold your handle in there. Just that little bit extra. That's good. And now we want to clip our corners. So now, we are going to reach in and find that opening that we opened the zipper. In fact, I might need a little more, so I'm pulling the zipper open. And turn the bag right side out. And now you can open the zipper all the way. I like to keep the zipper as closed as possible because it does keep things in place more. But now you'll want to open it up. There we go. And then my handy turning tool is a pencil, because that is what I have on hand. You can also use a chopstick. I think I've used an awl for like leather, punching holes in leather. Pretty much any not super pointy object, anything you have on hand. Nice corners on all of them. There we go. So now it's like this, and all we need to do is close up this. I have pink thread because my main fabric was pink. If you want to change your thread to match your lining, you definitely can do that now. It's the lining. No one's going to see it except you, unless you're giving it to someone, and then no one will see it except the person. So you make that determination. Essentially what you want to do is you want to work your fabric so it's all the way out and just top stitch along the whole way. If you want to pin this closed, by all means do it. Because I am not working with the sticky, slippery side anymore, I'm not going to pin. You just need to set your machine to straight again because it was on zigzag, and so right across the bottom. So now you'll want to trim any loose threads. And then tuck the lining back in the bag. Sure this corner pushed out, zip it up, and now you have a wonderful finished wet bag for the beach, for the pool, for dirty kid clothes, because we all know that kids can get really messy, and if they're covered in chocolate, then it goes right into the bag, into your diaper bag, and it doesn't get the rest of your bag dirty. Cloth diapers, like what I used them for. Any sort of wet thing, you can make really small ones and take kind of a sort of messy snack with you and put it in your bag, and it stays nice and clean.